This Zoom session is being brought to you by the Fractal Bullseye Water Elf. All right. All right. Today is a relatively simple thing for here. Direct and inverse variation. These are two kind of rational equations. There's y can vary directly as x or inversely as x. In the first case, for direct variation means that y equals k times x. Y grows proportionate with x. This number k is called the constant of proportionality. Inverse variation means y equals k divided by x, again for a constant k. With direct variation, if x doubles, then so does y. In inverse variation, if x doubles, then y halves. All right. A graph of a direct variation, y equals kx, has a form of a straight line to the origin with slope k. The inverse variation, y equals k over x, is a form of this hyperbola, which goes to infinity when near zero and zero near infinity, and has a slope like this. Now you can have joint variation, where here y varies directly as x and inversely as z, excuse me. Or you can have more complicated things. Here y varies directly as the cube of z and inversely as the square of x. I can go on in further detail in similar fashion. All right, here we have asked to sketch direct variation or an inverse variation. Miles traveled versus cost of bus tickets. Well, it's a direct variation. More miles, higher cost, and it's a straight line. Here's a graph, number of people riding a limo versus cost per person to rent the limo. Okay, well, it's being divided among more people, so it's an inverse variation with a graph like this. Now here we have with these next few, we have basically some prediction problems. Y varies directly as x. If y equals 10 when x equals 2, then what is y when x equals 7? All right, y varies directly as x means that y equals kx. Now we'll need the constant k, and it's y divided by x. And in this case, y is 2 and y is 10 and x is 2, so k is 10 over 2 or 5. Therefore, y equals 5x. Okay, that's the relation. When x is 7, then y equals 5 times 7 or 35, and that answers this question. Here, y varies inversely as x. Y equals 8 when x is 2, so what is y when x is 4? Okay, inverse variation means y equals k divided by x. Means that k equals the product x, y. Here with 8 and a 2, you multiply it out, k is 16, so y equals 16 divided by x. That's the full relation. Now when x is 4, and y equals 16 over 4, or y equals 4, and that solves this problem. 43, we have a drug being given, and its dose in milligrams is proportional to a child's weight in pounds. The dose for a 20-pound child is 124 milligrams. What dose for a 28-pound child? Okay. Well, it's a equal proportion. So dose is to weight as dose is to weight. Here, dose for a 28-pound child is to 28 pounds, is 124 milligrams is to a 20-pound child. D over 28 equals 124 milligrams over 20. Transpose the 28, D is 124 times 28 milligrams over 20, which comes out to 173.6 milligrams. Okay, here the current in an electric current circuit varies inversely as the resistance. So if I is the current and R is the resistance, then I equals K divided by R. The current is 30 amps when the resistance is 4 ohms. What's the current if the resistance is 15 ohms? All right, so like I said, I equals K over R, and incidentally, K is basically the voltage. So K equals IR, multiplied, 30 times 4 is 120. Units are volts, but whatever. So I, current, equals 120 over R, resistance. Now if R is 15, then you plug it in. I equals 120 over 15, which is 8. So it's an 8 amp current. Well, here they're getting cute. The power produced by a propeller wind turbine varies directly as the cube of the wind speed. So power P equals K times W cubed, where P power and W wind speed. P equals KW cubed. A wind speed of 15 miles per hour produces 5.4 kilowatts of power. So how much power is produced by 30 miles per hour wind? Okay, well, here we go. K, because P equals KW cubed, then K equals P over W cubed. I'm plugging in 5.4 kilowatts for P and 15 cubed for wind cubed. You get 0.0016. So power equals 0.0016 W cubed. When W equals 30, and you plug it in, 0.0016 times 30 cubed comes out to 43.2. So the answer is 43.2 kilowatts. Now you could also look at it this way. Before the wind was 15 miles an hour, then it's 30 miles per hour, so it's twice as fast. And since it goes by the cube, that means it's 2 cubed, or 8 times the power. And if you multiply 5.4 kilowatts by 8, you get 43.2 kilowatts. Okay. That's that for this.